Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the class. Yesterday, we were discussing about the Planning Commission and the starting of the 5-year plans. And in this regard, we have seen that planning 5-year plans are document of income and expenditure for the next 5 years. And under this 5-year plan, what is done that the budget of the center and all the state government is divided into two parts. The first is non-planned budget. It is related with those expenditure which are routine. Uh, the expenditure which is done on routine basis, and there are some other part that is a plan budget, and this plan budget is spent on a 5-year basis according to the priorities uh, fixed by the 5-year plan. So uh, we witnessed the first 5-year plan in the year 1951, and then the second 5-year plan was started in 1956, and the third 5-year plan was started in 1961. And I told you that the year 1966, on that in that year, it was about to start the fourth 5-year plan, but because of uh, various problems, so many crisis was the country was facing, and because of those, uh, the government decided to not to start the fourth 5-year plan, and instead of 5-year plans, we had the period from 1966 to 1969 is known as a plan holiday, because during these 3 years uh, we have not gone for 5-year plans. There were annual plans. From 1966 to 67, there was one annual plan. Then from 1967 to 68, the another annual plan, and from 1968 to 69, another annual plan. So what we see that during these three 5-year plans, uh, the foundation of India's economic development was laid very firmly, though there was a very weaknesses of this planned economy also. There were many objectives which were set by the planning commission, which were set by these 5-year plans, and which could not be achieved. Still we can say that during these 3 5 years plan period, our country has laid the foundation. The foundation for the economic development was laid during these 3 5-year plans period only. And I also told you that in the year 2014, when the NDA government came into existence, the NDA government became the ruling party in 2014, and in on 15th August 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that the Planning Commission will be removed, and subsequently, Planning Commission was removed in on 17th of August 2014, and in place of Planning Commission, Niti Aayog came into existence, and it came into existence from it was formed on 1st January 2015. Okay, so Niti Aayog is what is Niti Aayog? It is National Institution for Transforming India. And the basic difference between Niti Aayog and the Planning Commission is that the planning commission is totally centralized. It is based on the centralized economy. The planning was done uh, at the center. But in Niti Aayog, what we see that it is based on cooperative federalism, because the members of Niti Aayog are the all the chief ministers of the states and the lieutenant governors of the UTs also. So the most important thing is this, that it is based on the cooperative federalism, and the second thing which is different in Niti Aayog is it is based on mm, the planning commission works according to top bottom to top to bottom strategy of development. Top to bottom means the development planning is done at the top level, and then it is executed as the bottom level. But this Niti Aayog is based on the bottom up approach. Bottom up approach means the planning will be done according to the need, according to the requirement of the bottom level, and the bottom level will also have a role to play in the decision making process, and then it will be reach the upper level for the execution. So this is the basic difference between Niti Aayog and Yojana Aayog, that is Planning Commission. And what we must know that at present we are not having Planning Commission, and 12th five-year plan, which was started in the year 2012, and its period was from 2012 to 2017. So 12th five-year plan was the last plan, last five-year plan of India, and it was ended on March 31st, 2017. And now in place of five-year plans, we have a three-year action plan, which is uh, formulated by Niti Aayog. So 3-year action plan, and this 3-year action plan will be a part or of a 7-year strategy paper and a 15-year vision document. So it's now we are not having this 5-year plans. So now we will discuss in detail the early two 5-year plans, that is first 5-year plan and the second 5-year plan. So poverty was the biggest problem that India was facing at the time of independence. So the first 5-year plan, the main objective of the first 5-year plan was to get the country's economy out of the cycle of poverty. So poverty alleviation was the most important objective for the first 5-year plan. And the economist who drafted the plan, who can be said to be the uh, person behind the first 5-year plan, was K.N. Raz. You must remember the name K.N. Raz, a young economist involved in drafting the plan. And he said that what India needed at that time, India needed hasten slowly for the first 2 decades, as a fast rate of development might endanger democracy. So it was the opinion of K.N. Raj that follow, India must hasten slowly. It's two contradictory terms uh, which are which have been combined together. We have to develop hastily but slowly. So this is the term which was used by Kenras because there was need to develop the economy. There was urgent need to develop the economy. There was very fast need to develop the economy. But at the same time, what was also needed that this pace of development should be slow. Why? What is the need? What was the need to slow this pace of development? Because it was the opinion at that time. We have discussed earlier also that the main focus of India's economy was not only to achieve the economic growth, but uh, our national leaders were of the opinion that our economic growth should come with social justice. And this is the concept which we can see again when K.N. Raj is saying that India should hasten slowly, because if we follow the fast rate of development, then we can endanger democracy, because in that situation what will happen that only the upper class, only the few rich people of the society will be able to gain the achievements of the economic development, and the larger section of the population will remain in poverty, and in this way it will endanger democracy. So this is the meaning of hasten slowly. So the first 5 year plan was the main focus of the first 5 year plan was agriculture, because when India got partitioned, then what happened that our agriculture sector was hit very hard because of this partition, and there was a need to give proper attention to this agriculture sector if we wanted to achieve economic growth. And during this 5 year plan, first 5 year plan, we see that investment was done in dams and irrigation. Various irrigation projects were initiated during this period only, like Bhakra, Nangal, Hirakud, Metro Dam, then Damodar Valley Dam. So, uh, this was the main thrust of the first 5 year plan. And in order to make these large scale projects, huge allocation of fund was done. Then the first 5 year plan also identified that in our country the distribution of land is very uneven. There are few landlords who are owning the larger part of the land, and there are many landless farmers in the villages. So this uneven distribution of the land resource was the main obstacle in the way of agricultural growth. So in order to achieve agricultural growth, what was required? Land reforms. And subsequently, the government has made many laws for the purpose of land reforms, like Land Sealing Act was enacted by the government. Then Zamindari Abolition Act was also came into existence. So all these were the focus of the first 5 year plan. And we see that at the end of the plan period in 1956, five IITs, Indian Institutes of Technology, were started as major technical institutions also. And UGC, University Grants Commission was also set up to take care of funding and taking measures to strengthen the higher education in the country. So we can say that the foundation for development was laid in this during this plan. But there were some loopholes also. The basic aim of the planners was to raise the level of national income. And in this regard, what we see that the per capita income was very low because of high large population and high growth rate of population also was there. So the per capita income was very low and the rate of unemployment was also very high. And the planners wanted to raise the level of national income, and in order to raise this level of national income, what was required that people should save more money than they spend. Whatever they are spending, they must save more money. Then what we see that at that time in 1950s, the level of spending was very low. And so if the planners wanted to raise the level of national income, uh, in order to raise the level of national income, the level of spending cannot be reduced anymore because it was already very less. So uh, what was the way to raise the level of national income? The only way was to push savings up. Savings should be increased because when savings will be increased, then there will be investment, and then there will be increased economic activities, and then it will increase the national income. But it was also not easy to push savings up, as the total number of employable people was higher than the total capital stock in the country. Whatever capital stock was existing at that time in the country was lower than the total number of employable people. So savings cannot be pushed up. So people saving did not rise in the first phase of the planned process until the end of the third 5-year plan. When we reached the end of the third 5-year plan, then it started to rise. But this rise was not as spectacular as was expected at the beginning of the first plan. And later, from the early 1960s till the early 1970s, the proportion of savings in the country actually dropped consistently. So we see that we can say that the first 5-year plan was a successful plan, but still it has many loopholes. The focus of the second 5-year plan was on heavy industries, and this 5-year plan was drafted under the leadership of PC Mahalanobis. And you must remember that these names are very important for you. And we see that in this plan, the there was a need to quick development. As we saw that in the first plan, the main theme was hasten slowly. But in this plan, uh, it was decided to bring about quick structural transformation. It was based on quick development. And this quick structural transformation will be brought by making changes simultaneously in all possible directions. So, this plan, the main focus of this plan was industries, and during when this plan was in the process of making, what we see that the Congress party held its session at Awadhi near Madras in 1956. This Congress party session was done at Awadhi, and in this session of Congress party, the party passed an important resolution, and this resolution was that the socialist pattern of society. What is the aim of the Congress party? The aim of the Congress party was to establish socialist pattern of society in India. And as we know that in the first three elections, Congress was the only party. There was dominance of Congress. So if the Congress was deciding that the goal of the party is socialist pattern of society, so this goal of party was the goal of government also. And what do we mean by this socialist pattern of society? Socialist pattern of society uh, is a new form of socialism, we can say. It's a different form of socialism in which is the aim is to achieve socialism, but the path is democratic. Through the democratic path, the socialist aims were to be achieved. So this was decided as the goal of the Congress party as well as the goal of the government also. And this goal, which was set by the Congress party, this was reflected in the second plan also. And we see that the government imposed substantial tariffs on import in order to protect domestic industries. These things have been discussed earlier also, and I'm telling you because it must be very clear in your mind that the in order to achieve this socialist pattern of society, the government started putting tariffs on import. Why this tariff on import was started to be imposed? Because the government wanted to protect the domestic industry. When there will be tariff on imports, then what will happen? That the goods which are coming from uh, the foreign countries as imported, the cost of those goods will increase because of this tariff. And this increase of cost will lead to decrease of demand of foreign goods, and there will be increase in demands of domestic goods. So in this way, this imposition of tariffs on imports will protect the domestic industries. So this was the purpose of the government, and according to the goal of the socialist pattern of society, this tariff was imposed on imports. And because of this protected environment, both public sector and private sector both grew in a very good manner. Both public and private sector industries grew rapidly because of this protected environment. And in this period, what happened that saving and investment were growing. And a bulk of industries like electricity, railways, steel, machinery, and communication developed in the public sector. So, during this period, the public sector grew a lot, and this This was a push for industrialization, and it marked a turning point in India's development. This second five-year plan, it really laid the foundation for industrial development in India. But some problems were also there, and the problem was that India was not a technologically advanced country. At that time, we were technologically very backward. So we had to purchase technology from foreign countries. And in order to purchase these technology, we have to spend precious foreign exchange to buy this technology. So this was one of the problem which obstructing the path of rapid industrialization, technological backwardness of the country, and foreign reserve was also very uh, limited, and we have to spend a major portion of our foreign exchange to buy this technology. And now what happened that the another problem, this is the first problem, technological backwardness is the first problem, and the second problem what was there, that industry attracted more investment than agriculture. People want to invest in industry rather than agriculture, because if they invest in industry they will get return, very um, fast return, and the proportion of profit is also large if we compare it with the agriculture. So what happened that uh, the industries grew rapidly and people started to make investment in industries, and agriculture was started to be neglected by the people also, the common people. And this um, negligence of agriculture was started to cause food shortage. There was fear of food shortage. There was possibility of food shortage in the country, and our planners found it really difficult to balance industry and agriculture. If they are focusing on agriculture, then what is happening, as in the first five-year plan, the focus was on agriculture, but because of this focus the industry was neglected, and the industrial development was also very slow. But when in the second five-year plan the focus was shifted from agriculture to industry, but then there was possibility of food shortage, so it was really tough to balance the two. And then we see the third plan, which was started in 1961, and it was also almost similar to the second plan. And there were many critics who pointed out that the plan strategies from this time around displayed an unmistakable urban bias. This is also, we can say, one of the problem which was associated with the five-year plans, second five-year plan and the third five-year plan. That the plan was the focus of the plan was urban people, and it was thought that the rural sector was neglected by the planners. Then there were many people who thought that industry was given more importance, uh, but more importance should be given to agriculture. So this type of controversy arose at that time, and in the next class we will discuss these key controversies. What were the key controversies? And in this bar graph, you can see these are the major heads of development: agriculture and community development, irrigation and flood control, industry and mining, transport and communication, power, social services, miscellaneous. And this red color is indicating first 5-year plan, and the blue color is indicating second 5-year plan. So we can see in the first 5-year plan, um, mm, the allocation on agriculture was more than the second 5-year plan. It is 15.1%, and in the second plan it is 11.8%. And in irrigation and flood control also we can see that the first 5-year plan is spending more than the second 5-year plan. But in industry and mining, the first 5-year plan is spending only 7.6%, and the second 5-year plan is spending 18.5%. Likewise, transport and communication, in this field also, uh, the second 5-year plan has allocated more fund than the first 5-year plan. Then in power sector, the first 5-year plan has done more expenditure, and in social service also first 5-year plan has done more expenditure. So this is the comparative study of the first 5-year plan and second 5-year plan. And we know the focus of the first 5-year plan was agriculture, and the focus of the second 5-year plan was industry. So in the next class we will discuss the key controversies.